I know that was before 10 o'clock. We just got to 10 o'clock. So now I will say welcome to our get together with Travis, and Travis is leaving us, but no, he's coming back. Okay, there we go. And so what I want to do is tell you a little bit, real quick, how I got to know Travis. Travis Lee, my son, and I have been hosting a marketing power lunch, we call it up here. It's a 2-hour lunch where we talk about marketing for somewhere around 13 years or so. Travis found out about that group. Travis Kearin found out about that group and joined us, and shortly thereafter saw what we did with our mastermind group. Learned about that. That meets every other month for a full day at my house. And he joined that, so I've gotten to know him really well over that period of time. And he showed me, Travis is into a lot of things, but one of the things that he's really, really good at is getting you a #1 listing on Google. And I'm just going to say Google, but it's really Google My Business. And if you're local, that's about as good as you can get. It's that map thing where you come up #1 there. And when he showed me how he does that, I was just absolutely blown away. And so I actually hired him and said, hey, Travis, help me get my Google My Business up and all that kind of stuff, which was really simple. Frankly, I didn't need to hire him. The only reason because that business is really all of the Google My Business stuff has to be done through another program called Yext, because I'm part of a franchise there. So that's what got me confused and where Travis was able to help. If you don't have something like that going on, Google My Business is really easy to learn. We're going to give you the 11 steps on how to make sure you maximize that. And then the 2 simple steps that you do. You do them every week. It's about a total of 5 minutes, maybe, Travis, you think? At most, maybe?
Depends on how fancy you want to get. You only need to spend 5 minutes on it.
Okay, we probably spend 5 minutes on it. And the reality is ours just happens natural because we're doing those posts anyhow. We're doing our Instagram posts, Facebook posts, whatever, and it's getting over there anyhow. So we'll show you that. And then if you're interested in sticking around and finding out how to get a ton of reviews, in addition to that, those reviews are huge, because when they start giving you reviews, they start talking about you. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Travis, but my impression is when they're talking about you like that, and they're adding these keywords that you want to be under anyhow, cycling, fitness, whatever the case may be, that's just almost like adding more volume to your website type thing. It does basically the same thing as far as Google's concerned. Is that right?
It's not almost like it's a huge key factor in getting to the top in the map listing is a well-rounded approach of multiple things, and we can talk about all of them, but reviews and then your responses to the reviews and the words within those are huge factors in your ranking.
Yeah, and see, I didn't know all of this stuff. I just thought you put your Google Map stuff on and you hoped that Google put you on up towards the top, but it's actually some stuff you can really do. And what's fun about the reviews and the response to it then too is that you're using keywords that you want to use too in your response. So now all of a sudden Google's it's kind of like to me it seems almost like cheating, but that's all right. I'll cheat to get up to the top of Google. So that's how I met Travis. And Travis, would you tell us how you got to be a Google My Business expert? And the reason I want him to do that is by doing that, I know that he's going to tell you a bit about his other business and what he does also, other than help people with Google My Business. So tell us how you got to be that Google My Business expert.
Yeah, so I've owned several small businesses. I've always been a business owner at heart my whole life. Even when I had a job, I always had some side gig going, and I always tried to run them like a business, as casual as they may be. Through that, I kind of I ventured out on my first real quit the job, do it all thing. And it was a mobile paintless dent repair company. And I took some SEO classes, and then learned kind of naturally, how my customers were finding me. And I started placing a larger and larger importance on the Google Maps listing, because I was brand new. I couldn't even fix a dent, yet I was able to be findable and actually outrank my competitors who were far better than me. The guy that taught me, I was able to outrank him. And I started getting all of my customer business through that. Fast forward, I started a detail shop as well. And then years into that, I only had 29 Google reviews. And I was asking, and we were busy, booked out weeks and all this, but asking friends, family, anyone over 7 years of the shop, we only had 29 reviews. And, when you get a 1-star review at that, it's pretty devastating. So I had someone try and refer their friend to me, and they looked at our reviews and they saw 2 bad reviews, and they didn't feel comfortable using me. So that was kind of the final straw. I had already had this going. I already knew the importance of the Google map and the reviews and the whole thing, but I really dove in, and it became my sole job is to help businesses. My business was the first case study. And then through its success, I shaped what I do every day into helping businesses get there, because it's a repeatable formula. It works for everyone. And it's insanely important for the success of a small business to be found by the local customers around them who are searching for their industry. So that's how I got into it, out of need. And I'm staying into it, and I'm excited about it because of my passion for small businesses.
Excellent. So again, here's what Travis said. He had 27 reviews after how long of being in business?
7 years.
7 years, and then went from 27 to 171 in how long?
We've been doing it for a year and a half now.
Okay, so used to be, how did you get your reviews in the past?
You ask for, just ask the client, hey, would you leave us a review that would help, or send them an email. It was always awkward to both us and the client.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Same way almost all of us have done it until we find a better way, which we're going to find today. But the big thing too is the 11 things that you did to get your listing in the first place. Now, we're not going to go into claiming your listing. You can stick around maybe afterwards and ask a question about that if you want. But it's really simple. Just Google how do I claim my Google business listing? Okay, it's all you really have to do. And let's move that. So we're not going to go into that. So just go and Google, how do I claim my Google business listing? Once you claim it, Travis, let's get into the 11 things that they need to do to maximize that listing, if you will. So let's start with number 1.
So I think my first step literally is you claim it and then do the postcard situation to verify it, so you have full control of it. After that, it's going to seem really kind of elementary, but you need to have complete and correct information. And most businesses don't go complete and correct. So the first step would be literally fill out all related information, photos, so your hours of operation, they need to be for every day. And then they need to match exactly the hours that you have on Facebook and on your website and any other directory listings that you're on. And if you change them, they need to be all changed to be exactly corresponding. And then you look up all of the United States holidays, and you can add any more in there if you'd like. And you need to put special hours for each holiday, regardless of if you're open the same hours or not. Even if you're 8 to 5, you still need, if you're open on 4th of July, 8 to 5, you still need to say July 4th, here's our special hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay,
And
that's important, guys. Okay, I never did
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I never did that. Does it take a little bit of time? Yes. And are you going to put National Flower Day? Probably not. Okay, but the major, the major holidays, go in and get that done.
And I'll probably harp on this a few times, but it's the underlying theory of why all this works. Is Google's primary goal. What's that?
Yeah, tell us that. That's great.
Google has a primary goal secondary to their making a lot of money and getting your information. Their primary goal, and what's helped them become the mega giant, is they display the absolute most relevant information to your search. And that's what their goal is. They want to know what they're showing people is the best choice for them. And we'll keep talking about this, but there's tons of factors that go into that, and correct information is a huge one. And the more you specify things like a specific holiday, even though it's the same hours, you're showing them that you've taken the time to provide correct information, and they reward you for that by showing you more often and to more people, because they can trust the information, especially when that information is exactly the same as all of your online listings.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for instance, I mean, if it's Independence Day and you Google something, Google can either show you the hours, those people the hours that you're going to be open because you've put it in, or they'll show them something like the holiday may affect their hours.
Mm-hmm.
Google would rather show you the other stuff, right? So what do? They show you the other ones. They move you up higher. So that's crazy cool. What else?
Then you kind of work through the whole listing, right? And every single opportunity where they give you a chance to put something in, you need to maximize it. So the next, I believe, is services offered. You want to go through, let's say for a hairstylist. I have actually a hair salon, and she focuses on coloring and hair extensions and haircuts for women. Well, do you say, most people, when they set up their listing, your competitors are saying haircuts, hair coloring, hair extensions, and they're done there. If they did any of that, most people don't do any, but the good ones will say that. Now, for her, we have balayage hair coloring. We have this kind of hair coloring, half foil hair coloring, full, just everything you can think of. I asked her for all the terms that are specific and someone may or may not search, and or might be related to services that someone might search, because Google knows what, for example, haircut, they know a bunch of different words that are associated with haircut, and the more words that you have that are associated with it, the more relevant you are when someone searches a term. So you want to go through your services and have a minimum of 20. Even if you have one service, you want it sliced out as many ways as possible, as many phrases or long tail versions of it as you can possibly have.
What's long tail, Travis?
Multiple words. Yeah, good question. So where you might say hairstylist or hair salon, you might, that's a bad one for a service. That's so you would say like hair coloring. So you would say, I don't know anything about hair coloring, by the way. So you'd say like,
okay. So what you do is you drill it down to a specific thing.
Yeah.
For, long tail keywords are huge in Google. And so if somebody searches for, I'll go back to one of my businesses. If somebody searches for shopping bags with handles, so I could put in shopping bags, but I also want shopping bags with handles. That's a long what do you call it, long tail? Did I
Yeah.
say that
Long,
word?
I said that, long tail.
Yeah. So make sure you have 20 things, 20 different things at least, and get down to specifics. Retail, for instance, in Cycle Bar, we've got exercise clothing. We've got shoes for cycling. We've got all kinds of these things. So get creative. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but get 20 of them up there. One thing too, Travis, that I've got on my list, I want to make sure, so 20 service areas. Set your special hours. One of the things that I saw you too is that I didn't know if you were going to get this one too, but make sure that your hours in your Google My Business listing match exactly your hours on your website, correct?
Yes.
And Facebook.
And any online citation, you should have a bunch of backlinks. That's another part of this strategy. Every backlink that lists your hours must be correct in order to be the best. But nobody's doing it, so you don't have to go that deep to show up best. But yeah, you want consistency online that shows Google that they're showing the correct information.
Yeah, there was a chat here that asked if this is being recorded and will it be available, and the answer is yes. Travis also has some really special things at the end for free, that you can claim too. So stick around for that, because he'll make all of these 11 steps a lot easier for you to get and make sure you get done. And he'll be sharing that with you at the end. Okay. So go continue.
Sure. So, we're moving our way down the listing. So products, you want to, again, like services, you want to put down as many products as possible, because when someone is searching, if you actually carry physical products, they'll show up as a product on Google. You know how when you're searching all these different stores, products will show up. So your product can actually show up for your store if you list them. But I recommend the sneaky little trick is productizing your services if you don't have products. It again makes you more relevant for those words searched and might actually show you as a product online. So for example, cut and color might be a base rate, and you could say cut and color this price and what have you. So you turned a service into a product just to give you more relevance. And so
$99 is now a product.
Yeah.
Not just a service.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't just list the services again, make it into a product.
Right.
And put those in. So again, okay, so we've gotten through about 4 of the 11, I believe now. What else do you got?
I don't have them listed in exact 11, so if there might be some overlap.
I'm keeping track. Yeah. You gave me 11.
So attributes such as you want to set anything that you could possibly qualify for. Restroom facility type questions they ask on there. Yeah, we have a restroom. Yeah, we have parking. Yes.
And a lot of this, and just so you know, a lot of this is just right. Once you claim your listing, these things come up for you to fill out.
Yeah.
And what's critically important is that you do fill them out and you follow Travis's instructions here.
It's again another little tick of information showing that you're more complete. Are you wheelchair accessible? Do you have free parking? Are you LGBTQ friendly? Stuff like that. I think they have all sorts of stuff. So if you qualify for any of the things, you want to put them on there. It makes you shown more often. And so
and you said something relevant now. Coming relevant again up in Washington State, since we've got a full mask mandate starting next Monday. What about COVID stuff on there?
For me, that's loaded.
Me too.
You totally should list if you have COVID procedures in place, and you should list them and show that you're taking action on a lot of people gain comfort from that, and it shows Google that you're participating. And I think that's how they roll. But personally, I stay out of that zone, but I do believe it helps.
Now, let me tell you how I did that with our cycle bar, because it is important. And that is bikes wiped down with disinfectant between every class. Every horizontal surface cleaned with disinfectant between every class. Remy Halo air purification system. This is really cool, by the way. And if we had this, if we just had more of these, we wouldn't have to worry about the COVID. Remy Halo air purification system kills the virus within 2 feet of coming out of the infected person's mouth. By the way, look up Remy Halo. It's an amazing thing. So those are some of the things in that category. And go ahead, Travis, with another.
So then brands, if you carry any, even if they're not terribly notable brands, just any brands at all that you use. For example, my detail shop uses Griot's Garage products, G-Technic products, Ceramic Pro, all these different brands that someone might search.
Yep.
And or Google knows is related to a detailing term. Again, is more support that you are a good choice. So fill out any brands that you do carry at all.
Yep. For our bikes at Cycle Bar, our Schwinn, our shoes, our team, our, that if you're into cycling, you know those terms. Travis, I'm going to read to you a question from chat here. Actually, we're when setting up Google Business Profile, it asks after people click your ad, where do you want them to go? The two options are your business profile or your direct company website. What would you recommend? Or would it be best to just have the company website listed on Google My Business page?
So this is part of setting up the process. If you have a website and you're setting up the Google My Business listing, I would send them to your website. I don't believe unless they've changed something very, very recently. I don't believe that's only if you don't have a website do they ask you that, unless I'm incorrect about that. But yeah, if you have a website, it's more support. You should have that on there. Every word on your website is like a stick under a bridge, a dock holding it up, showing that you should be, you're more relevant. So you want your website and all of its stuff to be definitely tied to that.
Okay, excellent. So what else you got for us to make sure we get done?
Sure. A lengthy keyword-rich business description. So it'll ask you a word from the business, I think is how they word it. And
a word from the business, make it lengthy and put a lot of keywords in it. Okay?
Yeah, talk about something, resonate with your clients, talk about your service, use some keywords in there, use up as many as you can, try and get it down to I think it's 750 characters, get right to the end there, as many as you can while making logical sense. Don't just repeat hairstylist, hairstylist, hairstylist. Talk as a human would talk and get as many keywords in there as you can. And this is something people may read about your business. So you want to give them a good feeling about your business with that.
And let me, if I can on that, one place to get those, especially after you've gotten a ton of reviews like you did with Diamond Detail and like I've done now with my Cycle Bar business that I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit. One place to get a ton of the copy is just go to your reviews and put them all in one big Word document. This may not be the best way, but then start using those kind of things for your description. It can make it a whole lot easier to make it 750 words or whatever you said it was. So, excellent. Sure. Any more on that?
Not on that one. After that, you're kind of doing like little things, anything they allow you to do. Add a business start date. just again, it's more information, more accuracy, and any other little deal. Oh, photos, we didn't get into that yet.
Yeah.
That's
this is great.
huge. So you
I had it as number one. So
you should have inside photos of your, if you have like a place where you serve people in person, you'd want the customer experience inside. So like the front office, you'd want outside photos. If you can even do a little video tour. You want then photos before and after of your work. And if you're mobile, you can get creative, take pictures in city settings where you do your business. And even you can use the words that relate to that city, you know, Tacoma, dent repair in Tacoma, stuff like that. So you want, Google would prefer you had 100 photos. After that, I'm not sure if it matters, but if you had 100 photos loaded up, you'd be doing great. Nobody does that. You're doing great with 20, but 100 is better.
But you can add them as you go. You can add a happy client. You can add at Cycle Bar, Mary, who just finished her 50th ride and has her 50th ride plaque, and Jane, who just finished her 100th ride and has her 100th ride plaque, and is signing her name on the 100 ride banner that we have up there. Talk about how important it is to have these photos taken at your location versus using some stock photo on Google.
So we're moving into the next thing. This ties right into that. So when you're taking the primary photos for your business, take them on a phone that there's a couple ways. Take them on a phone that is you're going to use to upload them. And why? It's because your phone knows where you're at, and there's geo data. So there's geotags that show where that photo was taken. I know that's creepy, but it's
so cool.
It's another little tick that let's say you're based in Puyallup, Washington, and the photos of the business are in Puyallup, Washington, Puyallup, Washington, Puyallup, Washington on your pin. It just reaffirms again the location data and the correctness of everything. Right. That being said, the next step. So those are the photos that live on your listing itself. Those are the photos you uploaded. Now the maintenance part, and one of the most important parts to supplement this is you need to be doing a minimum of 2 Google posts a week. There's really no amount that's too much. There's people that do like 60 a day. I mean, that's insane, but you use the Google, it's called update. You can do a coronavirus update, or just a business update, or an event that you have going on. I always use update unless you actually have a coronavirus related thing or an event. So twice a week minimum, you're going to want to upload a photo from, if you serve people in one location, like Cycle Bar does, you're going to want a photo taken at Cycle Bar with a post that has some keywords in it relating to what you're trying to rank for. And it really doesn't need to be that amazing. This doesn't need to be like a well thought out article. People really don't see these things, but they do play a large factor in your ranking. It's direct keyword support, and since it's a post, it's now and relevant. It's kind of like how news articles from today can outrank stuff from a long time ago. It's because it's current. And so
absolutely.
by posting these posts, you are making current data that has the keywords you want, and guess where that links? It links to your Google My Business listing. So you now have all of these current pieces of information propping up your ranking on Google My Business.
I do see some chat things, but at this point we're gonna hit those at the end, okay? For anybody who has those, but we will get to all of them. Oh, I know what I want to say. But this is a big one, and that is Travis said to add some verbiage to that, but don't worry about, just add something. It's not a big deal. If you can get it keyword rich, great. If you use the same verbiage over and over again in these photos, it's okay. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is not like your website. It's not like your website where if you just cram it full of keywords after keywords after keywords, that they're going to hit you up and they're going to blacklist you. This is something you can use the same keywords on the photos time after time again. You don't have to get creative. Not very many people are looking at these anyhow, and they're certainly not going to critique you on them. The key here is that Google likes them, so give it to them. Okay, so that's we jumped ahead there a little bit. That's one of the two things. We're not going to get into that second thing quite yet, but we will soon. That you want to do on an ongoing basis, and that's why it's only 5 minutes. Now, we actually list. We have a guideline at our cycle bar that we make 2 Instagram or Facebook posts a day, anyhow. So then to put those on our Google Photos is not even an extra job. I mean, it takes. I told you it'd take you 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes to post 2 photos and put some verbiage on it. That's maybe 3 minutes a week. Okay, but do it. And here's what's cool is if you got the reviews. So the photos are telling Google that I'm paying attention to this stuff going on daily, and I'm adding stuff daily. So Google, you can get new information from us daily. Google loves that. Now then, if you've got reviews going on and you're getting them, maybe not daily, but we've got a process where we pretty much get them almost daily now. That's also new new information for Google, and Google loves new information. They do not like sending people to websites, etc., that have been stagnant and doing nothing. So again, if you have a website that's stagnant and doing nothing, if you do these things that we're talking about here with Google My Business, you've overcome that by having current stuff added to your overall Google, what they look at on a daily basis. This is just critical stuff. Travis, talk about, you said 10 service areas around your business. They also ask about that. What is that?
I forgot I dropped that out. Yes, if you serve people, even if you do not. So this is huge if you're a mobile business. And I have a couple different strategies I can talk about if you serve people away from your location. But let's say you have a brick and mortar. You want to pick the 10 service areas around you that your best customers come from, or where you want your best customers to come from, and list those as areas you service. Again, then someone's in Edgewood, Washington, and they might type detail shop, and they find the Puyallup detail shop, even though they're in Edgewood, because you're not too far away and you listed Edgewood as a primary.
Yeah. So in Cycle Bar, we got Perry Street, we got Perry District, we got South Hill, we got a number of different places that we put in. And of course we have Spokane, okay, but we also have those almost neighborhoods listed for that listing there. So excellent. Here's one that's pretty easy. I won't have to ask Travis to explain this. Make sure, but it is huge. This is actually really big. And it's make sure your business address is exactly how it appears on your website, Facebook, and all other listings. Everywhere that you're at, make sure it's exact. For instance, South 270th Street. Is it ST or is it street? It's got to be the same in everything where you have it listed, right? Did I get that right?
I harped on the hours about that, but that's exactly correct. For your name, address, and phone number, make sure you spell your business and punctuate it the same every time. Make sure your address is, like you mentioned, ST and street. are considered similar but different. You want it to be 100% the same on all sources.
Yeah, okay, great. So I think we got 11. Plus we already got one of the ongoing things. What's the second ongoing thing?
So I'm going to elaborate on the first ongoing thing, because I was talking about posts if you have a physical location, but a lot of people actually, maybe the physical location is your house and you don't display that to people. You have a service area. You would then list the areas you wanted to service earlier, like I was speaking, but then your posts become even that much more important, because Google doesn't really know who it should show your stuff to if you live over here and you're claiming this is your service area. It gives them a lot more confidence when you have posts that were taken on site. So if you live in Everett and you're doing your jobs in Olympia, it wants to see geotagged photos in posts from Olympia. And ideally, in the end, which leads us to our next one, it would want to see a review at some point from Olympia showing that, hey, work's happening in this area. He says the work's happening. Here's a photo to prove it. That's current. And we also have a current review. All of these things tie together for proof to Google and to show that you're the most active business and therefore the best choice for Google to display to people. So that's just elaboration kind of on the post. And I can't overemphasize that enough. It's extremely important that all your posts, if you're serving people away from your business, are taken with a cell phone and then uploaded. And I would do more posts if I had that style of business than two, because you're really trying to prove all your service area. There is a way, and we can discuss this separately. It's a little deeper. There's software that you can get for free that you can add geotags to your photos if you take them from like a nicer camera, or if all of your location data is off on your phone and it has no tags. You can add the tags to your desired location. You can even fake locations. If you took a photo at your shop and you wanted to say it was in Olympia, you can add those coordinates to that. But that's going deep, but that's free, and you want to make sure there is geotag data on your photos. Lastly, and I hinted at it, is two-part. It's requesting reviews and responding to the reviews. And the reviews in general plays a large portion of whether or not you should be displayed. It's not the only factor, but it's a large factor. And you'll notice some of the businesses with higher reviews are definitely the ones shown. But that's not the only factor, but getting consistent ongoing reviews shows Google that you're active still, you're still relevant, people like you. You of course become a better and better choice at the more of that happens and the more consistent that is. Large dumps one at a time are decent. If you like reach out to a big database and get some, that's great, and it helps your overall ranking and everything. But the consistency of ticking away at these reviews shows that you're doing business, you're active, and people are responding well to that.
Yeah, and one of the things that is the two things to do on the ongoing basis is to respond to the reviews. So yeah. I think you guys, let's see, we've got Danny from, can you give me a thumbs up there if you see my page here where I'm responding to the reviews? I am on screen too here, I hope.
I don't
Danny
see
from our Danny McGill. Can you give me a thumbs up if you're seeing Cycle Bar with some reviews on it on the screen right now? Okay, so let me do this different. Oh, why is it not showing this? Okay. Well, that's what I told you. We need to try this here. So are you seeing that now, Travis Lee? Okay, so there's the one thing that Travis said, respond to your reviews, okay? And you can respond to reviews, and that's showing how I responded to some of them, or Jenny's responded to them. You know, Teehee, Janet, how nice of you, our team. I agree, our team is awesome. We'll see you soon when you recover. So respond to the reviews too is something else to do. So, okay, so go back and talk to us more about the need to get the reviews, if you would, Travis.
The need?
Yeah, you were talking about that. I mean, what the reviews do for you.
Sure, yeah.
We've already talked about that a bit. I mean, and probably covered it
Well,
really well, because it's giving it all those cool keywords, and it's coming from a secondary source.
So it's, again, showing you're active and then people are responding well to you. And then the words they use in there are free keywords that are working for you and your benefit. And then the obvious thing is, when you show up in the top 3 and you are in a customer, Google's your industry, cycling Spokane, they have a split second to choose who they think is the best option. And it's going to be the one with a great number of reviews at a great rating that they're going to call first. So you want to be that. And so having those is huge, and you need to outdo all of your competitors, so that when there's 3 there, you're the one chosen first. And then all you have to do is answer your phone. You know, responding though is a little more important than we all think. Again, it shows.
I never responded before.
Yeah.
I never did.
It's hugely important. It's a free chance to throw in keywords there. It's showing, again, you're active and that you're caring about your customers. It's a big actual factor in your positioning on the maps, that you're responding to it. It shows that you're engaging and you deserve to be there. That being said, if you were looking, even if they just gave you a star rating, say, hey, thanks for the 5-star rating. If they say a -1, it's even more important that you take a few breaths and calmly craft the best response of all times that does not look like you are pushing back or anything of that nature. You want to, as much as you can, own up to anything that you need to own up to, express that you're ready to make things right, and that you're available for them to reach out to you. And, you know, try not to get into any arguments or any negativity, because people understand things go wrong in any business. And when they're saying negative words and you come back with argument, it just looks bad on you. It doesn't look like you're disproving them. It looks like you don't want to handle things that go wrong in your business. When you step up and say, look, I'm the owner, I can't believe that happened, please reach out to me. You know, here's my number, and throw that on Google. People actually seek out your bad reviews when you have such a good rating, to see what goes wrong, and they see how you handle it. So it proves, again, that you are a stand-up business to other people. So it's extremely important.
Excellent. So let's move into how to get Google reviews without begging for them. We were begging for them, get very few. Travis, you were begging for them for set. You know, our cycle bar has only been around, we've only been open for 5 months. So, you know, we didn't have that much history in this. And my other businesses are not local dependent. So reviews are not big for me. I just don't worry about them in my other businesses. So this is the first business that I've had that have become very important. And so we were training the people to ask for reviews and getting next to none, and people that didn't like to do it, like you said, it was awkward, et cetera, et cetera. And here's where we are today. Hopefully I got this right. And Travis Lee, if I don't have it right, come tell me, but here's where we're at today. 138 reviews. Actually, that's not today. Today is 142. This was.
We don't see your screen.
Okay, so where do I gotta go? Okay, so there we are. We'll probably just stay here for a while. Okay. But I'm going to go over here. Hang on one second. I'm going to change this to, I'm going to change this real quickly. Yep, I know. We're still seeing my face, crowd? Okay, good. Okay, so I'm gonna probably stay here for a bit. So here's where we're at today. And actually I looked this morning and we're 142 reviews. So yeah, we're getting about one a day now. 4.8 stars, 138 reviews. The competition has been there for somewhere around 10 years below us. 30 reviews, okay on the stars, 26, okay on the stars. Who are you gonna call? Okay, and again, it's not Ghostbusters, okay? So so that's where we're at today. So that, and so now let's talk about how did I get there? And here's where it starts. So here's where it starts. I'm assuming you can see this, right? Hi, Keith. Jenny, the owner of Cycle Bar here. Thanks for joining our family. Can you do me a huge favor and tell me what you think so far? It's a quick 2-question survey. Just click here. Okay. So that's what they get from Jenny 2 weeks after they become a member. And the reason we do it 2 weeks is that we think that they're going to even have a better experience after 2 weeks than after when they first start. Okay. So that's what they get. And then, let's see, and then they also get a text from us. Hey, Keith, Jenny, the owner of Cycle Bar here. Thank you for joining our family. Can you do me a huge favor? Tell me what you think. Go here. Okay. Very simple. Nobody, not awkward for anyone. Then this is what they get. Tell it to us straight. How do we do? Absolutely awesome. Terrible. Now, this is the coolest thing. This is what I love about this program from Travis. If they answer 9 or 10, we send them, you'll see what we send them to. If they answer whatever we took, I don't even remember what we did. I think we did, if they answer 4 through 8, they go to a different place. If they answer 0 through 3, they go to a different place. So depending on what they answer, if they answer 9 or 10, what do we want from them? We want them to give us a Google review. So we send them directly to an easy way to do that. If they answer 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we want to find out about it and we want to take care of them, right? And if they answer the lower ones, even lower than that, we want to find out about it and we want to take care of it. So what I love about this is it's great customer service, plus we're getting new Google reviews every day, basically. So if they say 9 or 10, it says, we're glad that you're pleased with your experience. Are you able to help us by leaving a Google review? Pretty pleased. So they check, sure. So they, thank you very much. Click the link. Now they get, after they click sure, this comes up. Thank you very much for supporting us. Click on the link below and it will take you directly. So they go to Google and they leave the review. That's how we get almost 1 review a day right now. And we're not getting 1 a day. We're getting probably, the last 4 days have been good. We're getting 1 about every other day. We don't ask for them. We don't beg for them. It's not awkward. It's just this simple. Now, review page. So then it takes them over to the review page so they can leave us a review. Okay. Then
I wanted to interject real fast. It actually opens up your business's review window and you're in the middle of leaving a review. You don't have to find the leave a review button.
Okay, good.
Which a lot of people stumble over that. It actually opens it up and allows you to start typing your review.
Okay. That's even better. So it actually gets right in there, which I said, thanks for helping me. They give us a 6 ranking. Says, what could we have done differently to make your experience a 10? Would you like us to reach out to you? Okay. If they give us a lower ranking than that.
So that 6 through 8 there that you just mentioned,
Okay.
is really important, because those are people who aren't angry. They're mostly happy, and they have something to share with you. And that's going to be the best feedback you'll get in your business, are those people, because they're not just saying something out of anger. They're actually going to tell you some constructive piece of criticism there. And if you see any patterns, or you see something you can rectify, you all of a sudden can, improve your business just from these.
Yeah. And one of the things I call that the gift from your customer, is when your customer tells you something that they're upset with. That's a gift, because you can turn that into a huge positive with that customer. But not only that, you can fix. You may come up with some great constructive criticism that you need to address very often. So that's very cool. So we're sorry it didn't go well. What could we have done different? We would like the opportunity to make it right. Please enter your contact information so we can reach out to you. Who else is telling them that? via a form like this. And if they go ahead, Travis.
You haven't had to experience that yet. So
no, we haven't. We haven't got anything. We've not had a single one in that category.
What happens if they do fill that out? And I actually respond to all of mine from my detail shop. There's very few, but I immediately, it texts me on my phone when that happens. I get an email with a help ticket is what happens. And most customers are, when they're wildly upset, to give you a 0 to 5, they feel either like you don't care about them, or that there's some misunderstanding that needs to be cleared up. They just don't understand. And both of those are remedied by an immediate response showing that you do care about them, and gives you an opportunity to clear up the misunderstanding, try and make the situation right, before they have time to let this sit in and start spreading the word. Even if they never leave you a bad review, they're going to tell everyone they run into that mentions your company, I wouldn't go there, because this. If you immediately reach out, resolve the concern, your public word of mouth as well as your online reputation, it gives people a story to talk about. They kind of missed some stuff, but they reached out to me and made everything so right. It's unbelievable. I'll never go anywhere else. Now instead of telling negativity about your business, they're singing your praises just from you making it right.
Yeah, we had if any of you are in my customer service membership, I talk about that a lot. How to make that complaint one of your biggest advocates. We had, I won't go into it, but we had a customer. We had to give we didn't have to by any means, but we gave them a $30,000 refund. Now we got the product back, and it was a computer system, so we were able to resell it again. So it didn't cost us all of $30,000. They bought a computer system from us. This is when I had American Retail. We gave them a $30,000 refund. They ended up buying $1 million from us in the years following that. Timberline Ventures in Juneau, Alaska. So I mean, now I don't recommend giving $30,000 refunds very often, and you don't have to get. I mean, that made it to this because it was way out of the ordinary. But how you take care of an issue is huge. You can easily, that guy Timberline Ventures, he told everybody in Southeast Alaska about us also. Okay, so, and Southeast Alaska is a very small retail community, big retail community, very close knit. Okay, so, and here's the let's see, I might even get to do this as well. Share screen 2. Look at there. Hey, I think I did it. Did I do it? Here's if they give us a 1 or 2, we're sorry, or a 3. What could have we done different to improve? Is this the right one, Travis?
This is the lowest one that creates a help ticket.
What could we have done, et cetera, et cetera. Again, so we want to get back to them. So that's
It's that easy.
It really is. And we no longer beg. We no longer beg. Our team loves this because they don't have to beg, et cetera, et cetera. Again, before we're done here, we're going to give you some free stuff about the 11 things you need to do, the 2 ongoing things you need to do, give you a little bit more help on those. And if you're interested in setting up this kind of system in your business, Travis, what do you want them to do?
I can drop a link in the chat. And actually that link will get you your free, your downloaded like instructions, how to do everything we've talked about today, as well as the opportunity to book a demo with me. And actually what I'm kind of offering in that demo as well is an audit. I use a software that allows you to see what position you rank in every micro area of your service area you want. And you can see who's outranking you and why. And I can show you how we could improve that, and or you can use that information in our instructions to improve it yourself. So let me grab.
I'll do this too. I think, is this the link you want them to go to? Are you seeing myreviews.com?
Yes, yep, that's exactly it.
Okay, so that's that, and you can put it in the chat also. But what do you want them to do if they want to talk to you about the system of actually getting the reviews that I'm doing with you? So you want them to just email you or what?
On that same page, so that page is a short form. It just says name, email, and your level of interest. It's just a radio button, choose your level of interest. And if you say that you want to talk to me, one of the options is, hey, I want my checklist, but also I'm curious what you can help me with. Just check that and I'll get with you. If you want ultra fast, book a demo right now with me, at the top of that same screen, there's a book a demo button. So just click on that link and then just click book a demo if you want to get started right away. But either way, you're going to get your instructions. And if anyone has questions, I'd be glad to do some follow-up help. And if you're interested, reach out to me that way.
Yeah, and I don't know if you kind of caught it in this or not by Travis's demeanor and whatever here. This will not be any hard sell. Travis will go over what you well, first off, you're talking about what's the audit? Tell me about the audit again.
So I didn't discuss that. I decided that would be a better an overall value for people. I use it on my businesses and all my customers get that going forward. And what it is there's a software that you can run your business listing through, and it will tell you exactly what number position 1 through 20 or above 20 that you rank in a map. So you pick your map area you'd like to rank for, and you can see what number you rank. People who think they're doing great might be a number 1 for their exact location, but then the surrounding areas, they might be unaware that when someone searches from there on their phone, they're not actually you're not being shown there. So I can show you where you're being displayed and in what position, just as a part of that audit. There's no charge to that. That's just information. You can use that to base your decisions on what you want to do action plan wise going forward to improve that. And if you choose to work with me every month, you get an updated version of that, and it'll actually show the getting greener and greener throughout all those areas as we work together.
This one, I'm not sure that this is in our area of expertise, but I will read it. My monthly Google review shows I get a lot of website views. Oh, and finally, again, if you want to do any of that, go to, and then we're going to get into answering questions here. If you want to Google, he put the link in the chat, but there it is one last time, myreviewrevolution.com/Google whatever you call that thing, checklist. Okay,
Hyphen.
I knew that word. Okay, so let's see here. There are some really good questions here. I'm not sure if this is, and I see Dan has a great point here. Google, so she's getting Google reviews, but not Google Web orders. I'm not sure that's our area of expertise
It's not.
or what we're talking about here. So I'm sorry, we can't help on that one, really. But go
What does
ahead.
that mean? Well, what does she mean by that? Web orders, as it no clients are converting from her listing, or
She never gets web orders, it looks like. My Google review shows I get website views, but I never get web orders. I think that's more involved than what we can talk about.
yeah, that's not what my expertise is here today.
Danny says Apple is getting much more crazy on not sharing your private stuff. So he's like, maybe you want to not use an Apple phone in the geotagging. Make sense, Travis, or not?
Yeah, I use an Apple phone and it does show my geotags. Some other people may not. Mine isn't the very latest setting. They just are getting even more aggressive on their privacy. So maybe I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget. I can give you guys a link to be able to check if your phone's putting tags on them or not. And then if it's not, that same link will allow you to add some tags to it.
Okay, so you'll put that along with the checklist that they get or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, great. How about service business, where we go to the clients versus coming to our office? PO Box, street, use which? Street, right? They're like, for instance, my brother-in-law is a handyman. He goes out and does his service. He works out of his home. And I don't know, I guess the answer to this really, but use a PO box or a street address in his case.
I don't think it matters because you're telling them you don't serve clients. There's a box to check. Do you serve clients at this location?
Oh, good.
Once you say no to that, your address just becomes a business mailing address, and you probably would rather people not know your home address. So I would say PO box if that works best for you.
Excellent, excellent. You can make responding to reviews easier if you pre-write. Yeah, this is great. Pre-write several responses, then you can rotate through them. Variations, especially handy for 5-star reviews with no comment. Yep. There are some good pay services that will increase number of reviews and intercept poor reviews. Can use short or long term. Travis can take care of that with his system right here. Do you recommend paying for Google campaign? This has nothing to do, what we're talking about here has nothing to do with pay. It is all free stuff, right?
Yes.
No,
I would
not have a paid for Google campaign is a totally different subject than this. We happen to have paid Facebook and Instagram in my cycle bar. Go ahead. What were you
my little thing is, why pay for a space that you can own, or why rent a space that you can own?
Yeah.
And by doing this process, you're gonna own for free living up there and not have to do an ad above it. So I highly recommend that as a last resort. Yeah, I wouldn't.
How do you get someone to give you a review when they are embarrassed and don't want people to know they have the problem we solve? One said he would give us a erectile dysfunction. How do you get a review? It may be extremely difficult.
That, right? I don't know. That sounds difficult. Yeah, the only thing is Google's pretty anonymous, like Mike G, it might say, or something, left the review, but most people have some sort of burner email or spam email. They could use that one.
Yeah, I don't, I've thought about that, how do you get around that? And I don't have a get around that.
No.
I don't. I mean, it's one of the reasons some attorneys have some issues. Bankruptcy attorneys might be a little difficult, okay, to get a lot of reviews. Divorce attorneys might be a little bit difficult. Criminal defense attorneys might be a little difficult, okay, but that doesn't mean that they can't be better. Yep, you probably got the answer to that. Get your the 11 tips by going to the link that Travis has in the chat up above here. Our policy. Oh, okay. So this is the Apple. The policy with Apple looks to be changing in September and October. I think I saw something about that too. And you could, and if you're doing the Apple, if you are using an Apple, Travis, you're going to give them that a little hint on how to geotag their photos, even if they're, regardless of how they get on there, right?
Sure, I'll send it to you guys. And actually, let me grab the link right now for people eager.
So this is how, even if you're using a photo that was taken in Bismarck, North Dakota, you can geotag it to be your business wherever you are. Okay, there.
So the tool is called Geo Imager. It's a free tool. There's a paid version that makes it easier to use, but it's easy. It's easy enough to use. You can drop a pin physically on any building or street you want and save, and it will write those geotags to that photo, and then you just download it. You can upload any photo you have on your computer or from your phone to it, and it'll tell you if it has existing geotags, and it'll show you where that is. So that's a great way to check if your phone's putting geotags on there now. If it is, you can forget about it. It's a great way to take a stock photo from online and add your geotags to it and make it relevant for you. Beware though, Google knows what photo has been used where online just because of its facial recognition stuff. So I try and use unique photos if possible.
Yeah, okay, so use unique photos. You can geotag them if you want. My guess is that if you're using an iPhone and you geotag it and it was taken where you say, there's not going to be an issue with that, would be my guess.
Right.
Any last questions? Man, this was fabulous, Travis. I got to tell you, let me see where we're at today. Since now I have this share screen stuff down really well, I think anyhow. Yeah, no. Okay, so let me do, like I said, we're at like 142 this morning on our Google reviews. This is fun, it's easy, and it is darn cheap. So
there's one question,
thank you.
there's one question hanging out there I wanted to answer. Sorry. It says you mentioned posting on social media and something about how it helps you tag your Google My Business. Is there a way to link the photos you post on social media to Google My Business? And answer is yes. You go to your Google My Business listing online, just search your business and go to your listing. Take that URL and link to that in your Facebook post. So just copy that and that is again a keyword rich post on Facebook, which has a lot of clout, propping up your Google My Business. So that's a great practice actually.
Yeah, okay, so in review, Travis is a really smart guy. So you want to get to know him. Thank you, Travis. I guess that's it for today.
Thanks for having me. It was really great. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
See you guys.
Bye now.